Ladies and gentlemen, it is a rare victory Monday for the Jaguars. That is right. The Jaguars beat the Colts 27-20 yesterday. And what can I say other than we need to cherish this and we need to protect Gardner Minshew at all costs. The guy only missed one pass and it was a drop. Let me say this, okay? I'm going to actually start with the bad. The bad was, and if you saw a video that I did before covering the AFC, I didn't even want to evaluate the Jaguars, and it was mainly because there were so many moving parts and unknowns that it was hard for me to give a good evaluation of the Jaguars, right? So we got Gardner Minshew, who, mind you, I like, but the question is he that guy? We have, what I do like is we have a good wide receiving core. I think we have talent like within the top 5 of the wide receivers. Chris Conley, DJ Chark, D.D. Westbrook, Keelan Cole, who's probably my favorite sleeper of them all, and Laviska Shenault was just drafted. We have so much talent on the receiving core. The only question I had was the O-line going to gel? And Gardner Minshew as far as the offense goes. But then on the defensive side of the ball, we've lost so many players, but we did still maintain a lot of talent considering that they still have Miles Jack, They signed Joe Schobert, who I think a lot of people sleep on, but I need you to go ahead and take a look at his stats from last year before you poo-poo the Joe Schobert signing. He was a major middle linebacker. They let go of Ronnie Harrison. They let go of AJ Boye. They let go of Calais Campbell. And they replaced him with CJ Henderson and Caleb Von Chason. So these are all guys that have talent, but they're super young. So let me go ahead and start with the bad. We couldn't stop a nosebleed when it came to the run, and that was a major concern for me. Now, Devon Hamilton was a big nose tackle we brought in via the draft that I expected to help shore up the run. We were supposed to have Ronnie Gunter and Al Woods. However, one opted out, the other retired. And so when that happened, I was like, man, what are we going to do against the run? Because while I like our linebacking core, they're more pass coverage types. And when you have those kind of linebackers that are basically on the smaller end, you need to have good run fits, good defensive tackles that are going to plug up blockers, right? And the Colts feasted on that early. Not only did they feast on that, they feasted on our scheme because we play a cover 3 scheme, which leaves the edges susceptible to short dump offs, and we were getting killed in the screen game. And I don't necessarily blame the players for that. I blame the lack of adjustments by Todd Wash. Todd Wash is not very popular among Jags fans when it comes to coordinating the defense. If you play a cover 3 scheme and you're getting destroyed by these short dump offs by running backs and just anybody in general, why are you not jamming more? Like, why are you not pressing more? So allow the corners to press. And by pressing, what happens is they jam the receiver and then they bail. What happens in this scenario is they jam the receiver, but they can read what's happening with the quarterback. So, for instance, the running back that's coming out is really the linebacker's man. But if you get a good jam, the corner will be there to help shore that up. Now, they adjusted better in the second half, which, and not to mention that they also got a key 4th down stop stuffing the run in the first quarter that helped keep them in the game, along with an interception by CJ Henderson, who had a big day, but he also allowed a few plays early in the game that I don't know if it was him or just the scheme in general, because again, they played so far off sometimes that it seems like they just are going to give up the slants, which is frustrating to watch. And those are the kind of plays that we got ate up on. Now, with that being said, CJ Henderson had the interception. It kept us in the game in the first half to go with that 4th down stop. So we played a lot of bend but don't break defense, and we were opportunistic when we needed it. And then in the second half, it really worked because we got the pick that put us up. And then once they were up, this is where the Jags defense will excel because now that they can pin their ears back and get to the quarterback, which is what they do best. Is get to the quarterback and play the pass down the field. This is where the athleticism kicks in. And CJ Henderson came through, broke up a couple passes, ended the game. Sorry, TY. What more can I say? I was thrilled to see it. If they win next week against the Titans, which is a tall task, they'll be 2-0 in the division, and the next 2 games are against the Dolphins and Bengals. Now, I'm not saying that, you know what, we should just pencil in wins because I don't know the team well enough to say, you know what, we got bad teams coming in or not so good teams coming in that we should pencil those in as wins. But if you beat the Colts and the Titans, you go 2-0, those are at least considered winnable games. And if they go 4-0, they have a really rough stretch of schedule the next 12 games. If you go 4-0, you only need to go 500 the rest of the way to win 10 games and maybe make the playoffs. Think about that. Now, also the good, James Robinson, undrafted running back, looked good. Okay, looked good replacing Leonard Fournette. Now, a lot of people are down on Leonard Fournette, and let's review why. Leonard Fournette is a special talent. Okay, I know a lot of people hate him and want to be down on him, but he is a special talent. You don't see running backs that large, that fast, that powerful. That combination you don't see often. The last guy we saw like that was Adrian Peterson. Well, I suppose you could say Derrick Henry, who's even bigger. Like, these guys are unique. The problem with Leonard Fournette is he didn't have vision and he couldn't make guys miss in the second on the second level. It was the most frustrating thing about him. And I don't know if it was and this was the critique. It was like, why aren't you getting better? And his second year, he got hurt, granted, but this is the thing that's been bothering people about him is that he has little knacks that keep him out of games. Now, his third year, he played the majority of the games. However, he had to. You know what I'm saying? And this is the problem. He had to. The reason he had to was at this point, you're playing for a contract because you got to have a good year 3 to go into year 4 because year 4 is when you negotiate for your deal. So he had to have a good year. But when it didn't matter, I'm glad they got rid of all these guys now that we look back on it, right? Jalen Ramsey, Yannick Ngakoue, Leonard Fournette, they were all head cases. They were all me guys. Yannick Ngakoue, I give a little more slack because he's just a guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder. He was a 3rd round pick, undersized guy. He's the kind of guy that gets, nobody picks him first, and he plays like that. So I worried about if the Jaguars don't give him the contract he wants, is he going to feel slighted? And I think this is actually what happened, that he felt slighted. The problem is he has a higher opinion of himself than that keeps it unrealistic. So the Minnesota Vikings are probably going to pay him. You gave up some draft picks for him, but he's probably not going to get the $19 million that the Jaguars offered him. And that's a shame because he's a really good defensive end. With that being said, the Jaguars moved on from all the head cases, and it seems like they kept all the guys that are about football. That's what it looks like to me. So they got James Robinson in there, had a good game, like I stated. He looked like Leonard Fournette with vision. Minus the speed, of course, because he doesn't have Leonard Fournette speed. And that's what kept him out of the draft was his combine. He ran a 4.6, but he had a very good shuttle. He was pretty strong. I believe he was 1 short on the bench press of A.J. Dillon. And if you've seen A.J. Dillon, dude is strong. Gardner Minshew was a big question coming into this year. The offensive line was also my biggest question, and I'm not sure playing the Colts is a great gauge of it. But what I did like was Jay Gruden's changed up the offense in that it looks like an offense that's tailor-made for Gardner Minshew. Let's get him on the move. Let's allow him to read certain plays, get the ball out of his hand quickly. Now, what I appreciate about Gardner Minshew is he's not the superior athlete that, let's say, a Carson Wentz is. He's not Brett Favre. He's not going to throw the ball all over the field like a Brett Favre. He doesn't have that kind of cannon, that kind of arm. But what I appreciate about him is he knows that. He plays within himself. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks I've seen play in quite some time. Because Drew Brees doesn't have that kind of arm. And you see the kind of success he has. When you know what you're doing, and this is what I love about Gardner Minshew, is he knows what he's doing. He knows where the first read is, second read is, third read is, check down. When you know what you're doing and how a team's trying to attack you, that's the majority of the battle at quarterback. It's great to have an athlete, but your mind is the biggest thing at quarterback. Tom Brady never had the greatest arm, but he was a computer at quarterback. So was Peyton Manning. Your mind is the biggest asset that you have as a quarterback. Gardner Minshew has that. Now, the question about Gardner Minshew is can he do it week in, week out, hold up, and win games? I'm so high on Gardner Minshew that I really believe not only would we have gone to the Super Bowl, we would have won it if we would have flipped out Blake Bortles for Gardner. That's how highly I think of him. The problem is now we don't have that kind of defense now. That stout of defense. But I think we are going to become a better team. It's going to be real interesting because I think Gardner's set up to have a pretty decent season. He's got probably the best coordinator he's had in Jay Gruden. He's got probably the most weapons he's had. We're 5 deep at wide receiver. They signed Tyler Eifert. These are the best set of weapons he's had in a while. And I'm not saying they're the Chiefs, so I can hear somebody laughing. Weapons, Jaguars. I'm not saying they're the Chiefs, but they're at least 5 deep at wide receiver, signed Tyler Eifert, and they have a stable of running backs. Devin Ozigbo can play. Chris Thompson can play. The only question was Gardner Minshew and can we protect him? All right, well, that's it for today. I can't wait to see what they do next week. I hope CJ Henderson keeps progressing. I hope this defense keeps gelling. And I hope to see another great Gardner Minshew game. Please take some time, click the like button, show me some love. If you're checking me out on the Fan Smarter YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, or hit the bell so when I drop the next video, you'll know when it's popping up. If you guys have any questions, concerns, you want me to break down anything, any team, put it in the comments and I'll get back to you guys. Until then, I appreciate everybody. Y'all have a blessed day.